Okay, we're back in open session. Now we'll go to G1, discussion and consideration of maintenance and operations budget and operations. This was requested by Mr. Calderon.
Yeah, I actually brought this because I brought it to your attention, fellow board members, last regular board, and I was told to agendize it. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that going through the documents that the district provides me, I found that a couple of discrepancies, with a couple of contracts that were expired with some of the companies. I mean, we're talking since June. For example, we have a company that expired on June of this year. This contract was for $187,000 per year, and we have paid this company $1.6 million to this date, and we continue to do business in spite of this contract being expired since June. So I'm asking that somehow we conduct an audit of all our contracts to see if they're all current and within guidelines. It's a shame that this contract was for approximately 187,000 per year, and in the 3-year span, we have paid $1.6 million. That is a lot of public funds, I think, misspent. We need to look at it, and if need be, we need to go and bid out again.
Okay.
Also, there shouldn't be any overtime right now. Our schools are shut down. Overtime should be on emergency basis. Again, emergency basis. I know that we have them not often, but we have them in our district, and we should only pay overtime when there is a dire emergency. And that's why I put this item on the agenda. I have other items, but right now, based on the discussion, I'll hold up and let's see what you guys have to say.
Well, I think based on that, just to stand corrected, it's for 107,000 a year. But I want to go ahead and see if we could bring this back to make it an action item for the next meeting. That way we could go ahead and, as far as I feel for it, and I stated this last time when we discussed this, is that we just stop for right now until there's a bid in place and stuff like that. As far as that goes, we don't have no students in none of the classrooms, so that's the reason why I'm going to go ahead and go that route. But you are correct when you say that, Mr. Calderon, and that way we could go ahead and bring it. If we could bring it up for in December meeting. Because I know it's an action for our next December meeting. I think it's going to be on the 15th, if we stand corrected, right?
We haven't decided yet.
Oh, we haven't decided yet? So
that's the next
yeah,
item.
that's the next item. So if we could bring it back, Richard, for possible action for our next meeting, I'd greatly appreciate that.
Okay, I think for the next meeting, I believe we're gonna, is the RFP gonna be issued? But at that point in time?
So the RFPs, I asked Kim Desert from School Session
Right.
to help me advertise.
Right.
She may know more companies that can qualify. We haven't advertised yet, and the reason why is because, as we shared with you, the contract, Mr. Calderon, I don't know if you had a chance to read the contract for the RFP. Is that, something that the board wants?
Well, like I was telling the superintendent, Gonzalez, I did get a copy of it, but it was blank. I mean, it was missing.
Oh, thank you.
It wasn't a full contract.
It was the RFP where we solicit requests for proposals.
Yeah.
And then after that, there is a contract that will be executed. But as far as the language of the RFP, if that was adequate, I don't know if you had a chance to read it, if it's something that needed to be changed. I asked legal counsel to give me an RFP that is current and recent so that I don't have to use the one from before.
I think Mr. Calderon said that he got a blank copy. He didn't get a complete copy.
That wasn't,
That's my understanding.
Actually, I mean, it is a contract, but yet it's not filled out. It doesn't. So my take is it was probably a contract that was used prior, and you just provided me a blank copy so I could read the literature. If that's what,
Oh,
I
it was
thought, because my understanding was that you were already gonna put out the contract for bid. And that's what I expected to see, but,
So the RFP that I provided, it is a blank. It hasn't been
Okay.
completed because it hasn't been awarded yet.
okay.
It's to solicit bids based upon that RFP. So if it's adequate and if it's something that, if I can go ahead and use it based upon legal's recommendation, then I will most definitely start advertising in the local newspapers and also invite every company that we can possibly identify.
Well, Mr. Vega, at no point, and I'll make it, I'm not an expert in this. I expect you to be the expert and to do it right, and that's what I was looking for, to get it right. I mean, this company contract was expired since June of this year.
Correct.
It's totally unacceptable. We should be cognizant because we are the physical solvents of this school budget. I mean, that's why we're here. And we need to keep this in mind that we can't allow these contracts to expire
Okay.
and then not only that, to pay them more than what we're supposed to pay them. I mean, 1.6 million, that is some of our staff's raises there, if you talk about it, if you think about it. I mean, I can go on. There's expenditures on legal services. And this is all the pre-list. I'm not making this up. I mean, we're paying these attorneys a lot of money. And this is where, I mean, we should audit and make sure that we are in use of these legal services, but not paying them when we can only make a sound decision by ourselves and then, hopefully get through it. But, I mean, we're paying them a lot of money every month. And like I said, I got more. I mean, I don't want to drag this on. All I ask is that if there's any way that we audit the system, so we stop this.
Okay.
And I said, this is a lot of money that's being spent, and here we're in a deficit, like you said, and yet we're still negotiating with our staff, for salaries.
And real quick on that note, Cesar, since his contract was over in June, we shouldn't be doing any business with them, right? Until a new contract is in place.
Right. No, technically, yeah.
So that way, I just want to make sure that, because I don't think we have to bring it right now. Thinking about it, I don't think we have to bring it back for action or anything
No.
like that. So I think
So
since
we're
once we
working
found
on it.
out, we should have just stopped. Hopefully, for our next meeting, the 10th. Or whenever we decide, we have something in place where we could go ahead. I don't know if it's going to be sufficient time, a month.
It should be.
It should be enough time. I think also as well. That way we could go ahead and make a decision at that time also
Okay.
as well.
I'll start hopefully advertising on Monday.
And then on the other note, on the OT, just like how he was just mentioning it, I think it should just be right now. We don't have anybody in place. I don't know how everybody else feels. Just for emergency basis, as far as that goes. I know there is certain things that we can't get around when it comes to overtime, but as far as right now, I think it should just be on an emergency basis right now.
And since we're on record, I also like to recommend that you bring up a process for this overtime.
Okay.
How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to curtail the overtime here get a process going, a fair process, and according to the contracts. And that's all I have.
Okay, anything else? No? Okay, we'll move on to G2, discussion of the regular school board meeting scheduled for December 10th and the org meeting date.
Right. So for this one, trustees, there's AB 2449, and that one, it's basically legal language that changed the seating date for board members to the second Friday in December. So we currently have our next regularly scheduled board meeting for December 10th. So with this new language that we have, in order to be able to seat the newest board member, if there is a new board member once the election is certified, then that would mean that they would not be able to participate until Friday, December the 11th. So there's a couple of options. One option is to keep the December 10th board meeting and schedule a special board meeting for the following week. And then that would be the organizational meeting at that point. That's one option. The other option is to move the December 10th board meeting, which is already in place now, and then reschedule it to a later date. However, it cannot be scheduled later than Tuesday, December the 15th. And the reason for that is because when it comes to our budget, the budget needs to be approved on or before December the 15th. So our recommendation is just to keep the 10th, the board meeting as it is, because everything's already scheduled and moving forward. And then just schedule a special board meeting for the reorganization at that point. But it's up to the board, and that's why we wanted to bring it forth.
I was looking at the date, Carlos, on the 15th, I think, I'm fine with that date. I don't have anything to schedule if you do decide.
I have a city council meeting the 15th. Do you have any, is the 14th available?
I'm available on the 14th too.
So there,
When are they gonna certify the election?
They told us December 3rd.
December 3rd.
The third? So then by tenth, you should have.
but the problem is that the new board member cannot be seated
Till
till
the second.
the
Second
Friday, December 11th,
Oh,
the second Friday of December. So we have two choices, keep the December 10th meeting and then have a special meeting on December the 14th, Monday.
Or you.
Or just switch
Or
everything over to the
just-
14th.
Or just delay this meeting, cancel the meeting of the 10th and have a meeting on the 14th.
I opt to have everything on the 14th.
Yeah, I'm good with that also.
I'm fine with it. Is there a motion?
I motion to have
Well,
the regular.
This is just for discussion.
Okay, we're gonna go, okay,
Yeah.
right, good point. Okay, we'll go to action item H1.
I'll make a motion, Richard, if we're on H1 right now. Or you have to read it first, correct?
Change the regular school board meeting scheduled for December 10th, 2020 to comply with the updates in the law regarding the organizational meeting date.
I'll make a motion, on that note for, December the 14th, which is a Monday.
Is there a second motion? Second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Motion by Kiki, seconded by Lencho.
And the only question, the budget has to be done by the 15th, so we're good, right?
Correct.
That's all.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Lencho, seconded by Kiki. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.